Hi, you're listening to Young Leaders Podcast, a show that inspires creatives and motivates you to make a meaningful impact in the world. My name is Filippo Bagarella, and I'll be your guide to success as we interview young leaders, selfishly asking them about their progress and the lessons in life they've learned so far. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Grace Wu Xu-en.
Hi. Hi.
How are ya?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. So, as you see, we have a different setting for
Yep,
the
it
first
looks
time.
fun.
We're trying different things. We're trying to make it work in a certain way. So, as you know, our podcast is called Young Leaders Podcast. So, my first question to you is, what is your definition of a leader or leadership in general?
I feel like having the trait leadership or being a leader in general, it means like having the ability to motivate others and to create like a positive environment so that others can feel comfortable working together with you. And I feel like all leaders should not think that people are working for you, but they should think that they're working with you. That's what I think.
So, you think of working more as a group rather than a hierarchy of an ideal hierarchy.
Yeah, because I feel like working like in a group or like teamwork, it's way better because everyone just has like ideas and they just boop them together and you have like yeah, you just boop and you got a really good big stable idea.
So, yeah, okay. How old are you?
I'm 18 turning 19
And you moved to the US when?
when I was 16 years old.
Tell me about that.
Whew. It was, first of all, it was really nerve-wracking because I had no idea what I was going to expect when I came here. Like, I was just 16, I was alone. Like, I walked through the immigration and, like, people were asking me, "You're 16, are you sure you're, like, supposed to come here alone?" And I was like, I mean, I think so. So I came here, I had no idea what I was doing. Got a little bit nervous because I didn't know how to like settle down. And at first everything seemed like really scary and big to me because I didn't know what to, expect in a way. But, I just moved into the apartment and like everything just became really smooth, thankfully. There were some like, what's that called? Like challenges along the
Yes.
way. But I did that.
You made it.
I made
Did
it.
you have anyone here to like greet you, or were you literally all by yourself when you got to the US?
I did not have anyone to greet me over here.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, yeah. That's why I was really keen on like making friends because I was like,
So
oh,
wait, let me understand. You got to Logan Airport in
Yeah.
Boston. What did you do? Did you take like an Uber to your apartment? Did you get your apartment?
yeah. I had to take an Uber there because I didn't know how to use like the trains. And the funny thing was like when I got there, I did not have my bed.
You didn't have a bed.
didn't have
Well,
a
that's kind of common, honestly.
Yeah, but it's like, I was like, what am I supposed to sleep on?
Where do you sleep?
I slept on the floor, but thankfully like my other roommate had like a really cute mattress
All right.
to lend me. So I was really lucky.
So you were lucky.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, well,
know.
it's same thing for me. I was lucky enough to have had like a bed for the first like month or so, but then it immediately like broke.
That sucks.
And I just literally like, how is it? I like sank into it. It literally just so, and I wasn't alone. So it was pretty bad. It was so embarrassing. So then I had to buy a new bed. I mean, I bought it for my best friend, but it was pretty bad. Okay, so back to you. Sorry. You came here as an undergrad for piano studies.
That's right.
So what made you actually move to the US for the piano studies in general?
Well, to start things off, I've always played music when I was young, and music has always been like a really big major role in my life. And I was like juggling with like studies and music when I was back in Singapore, but it was like I wanted to try something out, something that is like I could really focus only on music. And it's like I feel like going abroad or like going to a conservatory somewhere else that is like solely meant for music, it's gonna be like perfect. That's why I came here. But I didn't really have much options because I was like only 16. So I'm just glad that I'm able to find a place that I can, learn.
By options, you mean they wouldn't accept students that were like your age?
Yeah. Mostly they wanted to like start undergrad for like 18 or 19, They don't want a 16-year-old because
So explain to me
it's so young.
how did you end up actually leaving Singapore, where you come from, so early? Why weren't you like 18 or 19 like they would expect?
So I graduated high school or like secondary school as what they call in Singapore at the age of like 16 with like the really big exams, and I was like, honestly, I did not do well for the exam because it was like academics, and I was just never like the type of person that is good at studying. And so I did not do well, and I asked myself, and my parents asked me, like, they were like, "Are you sure you want to continue studying in Singapore, where it's like you can't really do much of music, or would you rather go somewhere that you can really focus on what you like enjoy?" So I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go overseas. It never hurts to try something new, and I just want to like step out of my comfort zone, and go to somewhere that is like I can do something I love. So that's what made me just go out.
You said stepping out of your comfort zone. Did that mean that you didn't like leaving Singapore, or was it something that you were still kind of looking forward to, but that made you a little nervous?
What I meant by like stepping out of my comfort zone is that because you just grew up in a country for like 16 years, you just kind of get used to life over there. You feel you know what is going to happen, you know what is going on, you know how to like solve like whatever issues you have because you have like your parents there to help you as well. But I know that like when I come here, I don't know the place, I don't know anybody, my parents won't be here with me. It's not a life that I am used to living. So that is what I meant when I was like I want to step out of my comfort zone, be independent. That's what I was like
So it's
really
your first
aiming for.
time ever living alone, ever,
It is
without
my
your
first time.
parents, without
Well, the
anyone.
first time was like when I was 9 years old in camp.
Okay, well, camp is camp. But I'm saying like,
Yeah, like officially.
have you ever had, given the fact that you are younger than others, but you still managed to get into, a school, probably also given the fact that you're a really good pianist, did that ever put you in a position where you had the opportunity to lead in some way, shape, or form?
I wouldn't really say I could lead others. Or like have the opportunity because like the place that I'm in, everyone is like older and I respect them a lot. So that like things will usually go to like people that are older, leadership roles. And partially I feel like because I'm just not a really outspoken person, so I don't really know how to like talk to like a group of people. And that is something I definitely need to work on because I can't like, I have to go out into the world someday. And but I would say that I just don't really know how to lead people. But I have seen a lot of people around me having like such good leadership roles and I really look up to them.
Such as?
Like people.
Yeah, like role models.
They're really like they're just ordinary people like Nicoletta. Like for example, a class we had, it was a really like a lot of moving. It was a really big class, but we were like split into groups. And it was not really like a important or like a big thing, but it's like the way she manages things was just really like inspiring because she manages to like she knows what she is doing and she has such a positive attitude which makes us be like positive as well.
Yeah, positivity is contagious. Do you believe in that?
Definitely. It goes both ways. Negativity and positivity, I feel like they all have like influence to others. Like, if you're surrounded by people who are happy, you tend to be happy. If you're surrounded by people who are always like negative or like being negative, like not really talking good about themselves or others, you just tend to sink down together with them. It just affects your mood.
So, do you actually have a way to protect yourself from those negative vibes, if you want to call them, if you ever have them around you, which I suppose you do?
Well, first, you just have to deal with yourself first. You know, whatever emotions you're feeling inside, tell yourself that it's okay to be sad or to feel pissed. You know, we have the right to feel whatever we want to feel. So what I do is usually I just, take myself away from people, like my good friends. It's not like I don't appreciate them, but I just like I need some alone time. So I just, spend time with myself and be like, okay, do you really want to be, stuck in such a negative environment, or do you want to push yourself out of it? So obviously nobody wants to be stuck in a negative environment for a long time. So, I just tell myself to just get out and face it, You might have to face negativity to get out of the negativity in a way, but it's like you just have to fight negativity with positivity.
Wow. We should write a book about that. Fight negativity with positivity. All right. Cool. What got you into music when you were, I suppose, young?
Well, have you heard of Yamaha, like the music school?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was where like everything started. Like my mom just signed me up for like group classes and we just played hot cross buns together, all day long, all night long. And that was like my very first piece. And so I at first I didn't really take like music or like piano seriously. I just thought it was like something I was obligated to do because my mom signed me up for it. But it's like as I grew older, I started to like, play like pieces that are like more advanced. And I really started to explore like different types of like just exploring the piano in general. And it's like I was like, wow, this is really cool. And it's like it's so fun and therapeutic to me because I was like after a day of studying, I just want to like go home and like play my piano. I was like it's such a good way to escape stress. So that was when I really like, it grew over the years, like my relationship with music, with piano, it just grew. And it was when as I said, when I graduated from secondary school, high school, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do, not like studying, not doing math, not doing science, just music.
That is what was your imprinting with music. Mm-hmm. And you understood that you weren't good in other subjects.
Yeah, I accepted that.
It's kind of a common thing I see in a lot of musicians, is that most of musicians choose the path they have, and their answer to why did they choose that path is mostly because they say they sucked at everything else for some reason, which is also my case. Mm-hmm. I was terrible at math. I was terrible at literature. I was really bad in that. So I kind of understand how it feels to like constantly fail at class, but have just that one thing that you cherish.
Exactly. And it's like you don't want to let go of it because, you just think about like, what am I going to do in the future if I don't grab this opportunity,
Yeah. But have you ever been in actual competitions yet, or except for competing for, I suppose, for university?
Well, yeah, I took part in some competitions when I was younger. It was like around 13, 14. Like my parents and my music teacher, they signed me up for like a lot of competitions in Singapore. I didn't really go globally, not yet, So
Not yet.
not yet.
Watch
it's gonna
me.
come, but not yet. So, I guess I kind of grew up in a competitive state or an environment because, everyone's just competing to be number one. Everyone just wants to get the trophy, So it's like, it was just competitive.
Very competitive. And this
Very
brings me to
competitive.
a very important question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with the pressure of being in a competitive environment? Because the truth is that being in a musical environment like this,
Mm-hmm.
being competitive is mostly required, and it gets more and more competitive the further you go down the road. How do you deal with that stress and pressure?
I just tell myself there's always gonna be pressure no matter what you're doing. You're not the only one doing it, There's gonna be people doing the same thing as you. And I just tend to like block out what other people are doing even though they're doing the same thing as me. Like we could be learning the same piece, but I feel like there's no point pressuring, feeling the pressure, or just, letting it affect me. Although sometimes I think that pressure is good because, it pushes you, because you feel like you don't like, with no pressure, you just feel like you can take your own sweet time, and, there's never gonna be like an outcome, or like you might not feel like it's worth it. But how I deal with like pressure is like I just block it out or just accept it and just work alone.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's literally it?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
It can get hard sometimes though, because you just got so surrounded by people.
that's the first time I ever hear this answer because
Really?
most people are like, "Oh, I meditate or I practice even more," which I guess it's what you said.
Yeah, that's
But
kind of what I was going for. It's
so
like,
the you're saying that for you, the key to being less stressed is actually practicing even more.
yeah, more or less like that. But it's like not practicing because I want to be better than others, but only practicing because I want to be better for myself.
Because you want to be better than the day before.
Yeah. It's
So
like,
you don't see it as you trying to be better than others, meaning you don't see it as a competition. You see it as a personal competition to your own
personal.
self.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I feel like personal competition with myself is what works best for me. Because I've experimented with like a lot of things,
Such as?
comparing myself to others. And that is where the pressure comes in, because you're always thinking, like, what is the person doing? Like, where are they at now? And then at the same time, you can't really focus on yourself because you're always thinking about what they're doing, and it's not healthy. It doesn't bring you really far. I mean, it might work different from other people, but for me, I just like I just tell myself, I set goals for myself and tell myself to beat myself. Not like physically beat, but like in terms of like setting goals, overcoming the goals. That's, yeah.
And did you ever have to deal with failure?
Yeah, definitely.
How did you deal with that?
How I dealt with it was, an example of a failure was my really big last year examination in my secondary school in Singapore. It was such a bad exam for me because I did really badly, and I felt like my world was ending because it's like I don't know where I can go. And at that time, like, I didn't really think deeply into going overseas, so I was like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna retake the exam? Am I gonna like retain? What am I gonna do? It was such a big blow for me, and it was such a disappointment. It felt really, it sucks, honestly, it sucks. But what I tell myself is like, it's all right for you to be, it's all right to cry and like be in the moment, but then let go of it. Tell yourself, ask yourself, what can you do better after the failure? Because there's no point like dwelling on it. It's just not gonna bring you anywhere. You're just gonna make yourself feel even worse, and that's not healthy.
Did you actually realize all this by yourself?
No.
Who taught you that?
I would say my mom, mostly my mom and my dad, both of them, my parents. I forgot I have a dad. So
Daddy
sorry,
issues?
mom and dad. But it's like, how would I say? It's like they didn't really. They was there for me. They were there for me, but they weren't really there for me. They let me figure things out by myself. Cause I feel like they also know that like there's no point like hovering over me or like telling me what to do about this. Cause so they just let me deal with it myself and just give me advices along the way. And that's how I feel like I learned it. Because if they were to solve like whatever problem I have for me, I don't think I can like say what I was saying right now. Because all these are like personal experiences that I had to go through myself.
So, did you ever have a mentor other than your parents, like a professor or a teacher, that would make it harder for you, actually? In Singapore?
Well, I would say yes.
Not necessarily in the musical realm, in general.
I do have a piano teacher that I grew up with. Not really grew up, but she was like mentoring me. And I would say it was kind of like a competitive environment because everyone was just she makes us compete with others, you know, in a way like she just tells us what other people are achieving and what I am not achieving. And so it's like you kind of think, why am I not doing it? Why can other people do it but not me? So it was kind of like stressful and a little bit of toxic in it, but I managed to get through that, and right now I'm in a really comfortable place where, you know, I have great communication with my professor and I'm happy.
The reason I ask this is because what I also try to talk about sometimes in the podcast is about mental health. And not everybody is resilient. Certainly I wouldn't have been at your age as resilient as you are and were to actually deal with those issues. Most people think that, you know, your mentor is the Bible. You know, it's the Holy Scripture, and if you don't follow it, you are a failure. But what I think the moral of this, I think, is that it's really important to remind yourself of who you really are and that it is okay to have your own pace, right?
Exactly. You know, just go at your own pace. Don't feel rushed. A little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress is good because that's, for me, that's what keeps me going. You know, at least I have a goal for myself. But don't just don't be affected because at the end of the day, you are running your own race, you know. People are not running it for you. They might be there to help you, but you are the one that is finishing the race. So you have to be there for yourself.
So, plans for the future. What are you planning to do after you finish studying piano? I mean, at the conservatory where you study.
I would really want to get into teaching younger kids because when I was young, I've always liked being a teacher. Like I would just like pretend I'm teaching like a group of people and like write on the whiteboard and stuff. And I was like, it was really fun. So I would really like to be able to, you know, connect with younger kids and share my love and passion for music or piano to them and hopefully, you know,
So it's mostly teaching.
mostly
What about
teaching.
concerts and stuff?
I wouldn't really say I'm a concert type of person because I
Oh.
get stage fright really easily.
Aha.
So exactly.
Stress.
Stress. So I myself want to avoid the stress because it's not like, you know, I only have like concerts to go to perform. I can also go to teaching. So I would just not go for concert. It's just not my thing.
So you would prefer teaching.
Definitely. 100%.
And do you think that you learn more from students rather than yourself or your teacher?
That's a fun question.
Actually, step back. Have you ever had the opportunity so far to like teach or even cooperate in a musical setting where you
Yeah.
could have? Yeah?
Yeah, it was in Singapore. I was babysitting a kid, and the mother was like, "Oh, you play the piano, right? Why don't you just try teaching like my daughter like a few like simple music?" And I was like, "Sure, you know, like I'm curious to see how it actually feels like to be able to teach someone that is younger than you or someone who has no experience." So I brought out a piece of music, and you know, I taught them how my previous teachers and my current teacher would teach me, you know, patient. And I was like, this is really fun. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do this in the future.
So that's what drawed you for the
Yeah.
first time to actually say, I am going to teach.
Partially because I have always had a love for teaching. So that just adds up, you know, it just. Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So I guess what I'm also wanting to ask you is, have you had the opportunity to connect? At the beginning, you said that you were trying to make a lot of friends when you came here for the first time. And you are an extremely ambitious person, I think. And did school ambition, your plans get into the way of actually having the opportunity of making good friends? Except me, obviously.
Well, I mean, you just popped out of nowhere, so that's hard to say. But like,
That's kind of true. Wait,
What?
How did it? When did we actually start hanging out?
Honestly, I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Oh, it was Six Flags.
We were hanging out before that.
No, we weren't.
We weren't?
We weren't.
We just randomly decided to
Yeah,
go to
we're
Six
just
Flags.
like classmates, and then poop, we went to Six Flags.
Wow.
Which you did not go for any rides.
I didn't go to any ride. No. I'm a scaredy cat. I just can't.
Yeah, but you were good because you helped us hold our bags.
Yeah, I was the bag holder.
You were the bag holder. You were the doorman.
I was the doorman, the bag holder. That was amazing. And I remember, little fun story, I had these like really cool shoes that my mom bought me the year prior, and they were like gold, red, and blue, something like that.
Oh.
And this group of boys, they were probably like in 5th grade. They stopped and they asked me if they could see the shoes. And I said, sure. And I just moved my foot to show them. They actually wanted to see the shoe.
So you took it off
I
for
took
them.
off my shoe. They want both shoes because there were like 5 kids.
Did you just run away with the shoes?
Oh no.
Okay.
I mean now that I think about it, moral of the story: don't give your shoes to strangers. But yeah, sorry. Back to the question. How do you did ever like your musical ambition go with interfere with maybe your social life and friends?
I would say not really, because we're in a school where everyone is so close knitted, and it's like whatever, we have a lot of classes, we meet like the same people, and it's like I feel like it just blends well together. I don't feel like I'm in a really big school like with like 20,000-30,000 of people where it's like you meet people every day and you don't know how to connect with them, but it's like I see the same people like almost every day, and we have like the same classes.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Like
Is that a good thing? Question.
I mean, it depends on you, honestly. It's
so
a
much
you
pressure.
problem. Well, push yourself out of the pressure.
Oh, you don't want me to do that, girl. I'll just become terrible. Okay, so it wasn't that hard because of the ambience where you found yourself to be in.
It was perfect.
It was perfect. But if you were to end up in the future, because we are undergrads, so we hopefully are going to do our masters and then do more. Actually, we're gonna end up in Emerson. So Emerson is a way bigger school when we're done at the school we're going currently.
For sure.
How are you gonna how does that apply to a bigger school? Except for me, because I'll be there.
Like, thankfully I have you
And Jeremy.
and Jeremy, and we might be like both of us might be future roommates. So
Yes.
I am not that worried about like making friends, because like whatever, I can start off with Filippo and we can like branch out afterwards. Like I can just throw him aside. It doesn't matter. It's never that deep.
I can be at like your tree, close to you while you're
You
talking.
can be
I'll
there
just
holding
your
my bags.
bodyguard. All right. So
But it definitely feels scary though, because
it feels, but honestly,
I don't
at least on
know.
my side, I don't think it's gonna be that bad because again, we've been in Boston for how much? 2 years
2,
now.
3. It's gonna
We
be
know
3
how it
next year.
works.
We know how it works.
We know the drill.
We know it.
We're a part of it now.
We're what's that called? Bostonians?
Bostonians.
Bostonians, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that feels weird.
It feels weird. But it's like, it definitely feels a little bit scary at first, because, I'm just going in on my 4th year. Everyone probably already knows each other, and it's like, where am I gonna how am I gonna talk to people, But I feel like it's gonna be fun as well, because, you're stepping out of your comfort place. It's like moving on to the next stage of your life. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see that.
We'll see how that
I'm
goes.
actually now that we spoke about that, I'm actually nervous about it.
I mean, we have each other, so
We have each other. We can hold hands. We can go to school together and hold hands.
yeah, we can eat lunch together. We can eat peanut butter and
jelly.
Jelly sandwich together.
That's no. I'm sorry.
Also, we have we know Mary, and Mary goes to Emerson, so.
No, well, she's gonna do her master's.
Well, that's true, but she used to go to Emerson, so
Mary,
she
you
knows
need to
the
give us
place well.
an emailing list of people. Actually, you're gonna have to give us files, okay, of people with a picture of their faces and a description of what they do, what they don't do, their social media and everything, so that when we see them, we know who we're talking to.
You're not gonna recognize anybody. That school is huge. It's not.
Is it
like
is it
this
as big as
place.
Harvard or smaller?
How big is it? Like, how many people
How
are we talking
big is
about? Yeah.
For the record, I was all by myself when I went to Emerson.
No, I'm not. This is
And
a
you're
serious
doing
point.
so well.
This is a serious point I'm trying to make. How do you deal with that?
I mean, honestly, I just kind of went in there and left. You know, like all my friends are here, so I just sort of went and got the academics and kind of just dipped. To be honest, like I met some really cool
In and out.
people, but you know, I don't know. I kind of was there for a specific purpose.
By the way, Mary's in our team. Come here. Come here. Come here.
No, I'm ugly today.
Come
I
here.
will make an appearance when I'm beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Fine. Okay. Well,
This is when
Mary's
we,
part of the team, ladies and gentlemen. Mary.
This is where we start to talk about self-love.
Open your chakra.
My crown chakra
Embrace your hippiness.
is why my aura is clear. Okay, it's clear.
This is gonna be interesting to edit. What? By the way, whatever.
That was so funny.
That was actually fun. That was actually that was.
I
fun.
love like the open concept of like conversation.
Girl, it's not
It's
the first
fun.
time we have people offset just dipping in. It's just fine. It's normal. As you know, what we do is we ask you a question that the previous person left for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last question to you is going to be leave a question for the next person that we're
Okay.
going to interview without you knowing who they are, obviously. So the previous question left by a very important person that you like, that you mentioned, Nicoletta, is what made you decide to do what you currently do, and what motivates you?
What motivates me?
I mean, the question was way longer, but I try to always.
I felt like I just kind of talked about it previously.
I know that's the
So
the
it's
point,
kind of
because
like a heart.
some questions sometimes come. This is why I was hesitant at the beginning. Most questions that come up to us are at the very end are like are very existential, and we actually covered it mostly. But if you can like, I don't know, just like summarize it into like a couple of phrases for us, that would be amazing.
Okay, what motivates me is my parents and my siblings, basically my family.
Wait, how many siblings do you have?
I have two. I have two younger brothers. So basically,
Oh wait,
I'm,
you
like, the
told me.
oldest.
Sorry. Yeah.
How? How do you forget about that?
I'm sorry. I'm like
Yeah, we're not rooming together.
cast it out.
But
Okay.
yeah, my family is what motivates me the most, I feel, because, you know, for them to send me all the way, you know, across the globe, it's like I feel like I have to work hard so that I can like make them feel proud of me.
But they also like trust you a lot. Like my parents would not trust me so much.
Well, that's what you think.
Yeah. Wait, they don't trust you?
I'm doing great.
All right, so that's what motivates you.
Yeah.
And what brought you to do what you do now? We already spoke about that, but
It's the environment that I grew up in, you know,
mostly.
and what I failed in, and what I failed at, and what I learned was what brought me here.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for
being
having me.
at Young Leaders Podcast. I hope you had fun, and
I had so much fun.
we hope to have you back.